Hi, this is Eli Brooke with Productive Style, and today I want to share with you one of my weekly floral spreads for the month of April. This month I've been doing a series of pastel florals using Tombow brush pen markers and kind of using a painting style technique with them with the blender pen. I'm going to link all of my supplies below if you're interested, so you can check out the links and pick up some of your own. One of my very favorite things to do is draw flowers, and I've really been enjoying the past couple months of doing floral spreads. If you've watched my Plan With Me video for May, you'll see that I also continued the floral spread but brightened it up with some warm citrus florals. For this spread, I am using one of my very favorite notebooks, which is a 160 GSM, really thick paper. It's a notebook from Archer and Olive, and I am an affiliate, so if you follow along and want to get one of your own, there's a discount code below. What I love about these is that they will take whatever ink and paint and anything that you put on the page, and it won't soak through. You can still use the back of the paper. So the particular design I have is the double arrow, and it's in an A5 size, which is a really great size. I'm going to be continuing with A5 in May, but in future months I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting with different paper sizes. So look for some square spreads and some elongated spreads and just some interesting new styles. So with this drawing, I'm just doing some larger flowers in the middle and then accenting with smaller florals to the side. I fill in all of the gaps with a variety of different types of leaves and branches and twigs. And this is just a great technique to kind of fill the center of your page and then build your spread around. After I filled in the larger details on the florals and the leaves, I go back in and refine with a little bit smaller pen. The pens I'm using are Staedtler pigment liner pens, and I tend to use the 0.3 or the 0.5 for the large outlines or thicker lines. And then I'll drop down to a 0.2 or 0.1 pen to fill in the finer details and, make little lines and creases in the flowers and leaves and just give them a little bit more depth. To do the lines and creases, I just kind of follow the way it looks like the leaf is bending, and that gives a nice kind of 3D impression when you fill it in with color later. For the outline of the actual bullet journal spread, I just take a ruler, do some outlining around the page, and then I'm going to fill in gaps for each of the days of the month and just a few other, key parts of the page that I track. Sometimes I'll add idea spreads, sometimes little trackers. Just depends on the goals for the week. As I start to add color to the page, I use just a small palette. This one I bought for maybe $1 or $2 at Hobby Lobby, and it's just a great place to kind of blend your colors and get a variety. I don't like the intensity of the full color of some of these brighter forms of pastels on the page. So what I'll do is I'll actually brush them onto the palette and then use a blender pen to layer on the color to the appropriate depth. Because it is on that thicker Archer and Olive paper, I'm able to continue to layer that out without any kind of tears in the paper or the paper getting overly soaked with pigment. So continue doing that. I'll start with some of the inside of the flower and then build out the outside. You can use layers and layers of color to give a 3D effect, to give some shadow, whatever you like, or you can just do a flat wash if you want the flowers to kind of look uniform in color. So as I fill these in, I'm adding some little purple into the blossoms, the smaller kind of closed in flowers that we have on the page. And on the inside of those, I'll actually go back sometimes and do the full force Tombow marker pen just to give that kind of shadow look for where the inside of the flower is. And then on the lines, I'll also kind of do a little bit of shadow and highlight just to give that a little bit more depth on the flowers. Next, I'm going to fill in the center part with a brighter yellow pigment just to give a little bit of pop to the flower. And start to add some of the coloring in on the leaves. As I'm adding the color in on the leaves, I'm actually using 2 different shades of green. I'm using sort of a bright leaf green and then a little bit more of a mid-tone green. The leaf color I'll put on first. I usually work from lighter color to darker color if it's going on top of each other. That just gives a little bit more flexibility and makes sure that those light areas can pop if you don't cover them up with the darker color. And then the darker color I'll use on top of kind of the indentation lines to give more depth to the flowers. So as I finish out the spread, I'm continuing to add layers of color on top of each other. And I'll go in and fill in with some of that brighter lime green for a little bit more of an accent and make those leaves truly stand up off the page. And I love doing this layering technique just because it gives you so much flexibility. You can continue to add colors until you have full saturation, or you can leave it very light and pastel. And then finally, I'm kind of adding that highlight in on the center part of the flower where we have the yellow, giving it just a little bit more color depth. So it again has that kind of layered look. One other technique I use is looking at the shape of the leaf and where kind of the underside of the leaf would be. If you look at the way the sunlight might hit the leaf, sometimes those underneath parts need an extra couple layers of darker color. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you follow along, feel free to tag me at Productive Style. I would love to see your work. It's really exciting when people use these designs in their own bullet journals or planners, or just try out the flower drawing. That's great too. So if you like this, please take the time to like and subscribe. I've got some really awesome videos coming up in May, and I'm excited to share those with you. We'll be doing some creative projects, some galaxy painting, a neat kind of silhouette painting, all kinds of fun things on Creative Tuesdays. And then continuing on with those warm citrus floral bullet journal spreads on the Planner Tuesdays. I've got some really fun designs to share with you next month. So thank you so much for joining today. Again, please subscribe if you liked this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day and find some fun time to be creative. Bye.